everybody so much for being here today. 7:05, calling to order the August 10th meeting of the Horace Mann Legacy Subcommittee. And meetings are recorded by Franklin Matters. And so, and we got a special guest, Representative Jeff Roy. And in a moment, we'll kind of go around, we'll do some introductions. But first, as we all had started all of our meetings, we got some cookies. So if anybody wants, you can kind of take one and pass it down. These are Fluffernutter cookies. A little history behind that. Marshmallow fluff was invented here in Massachusetts by Archibald Query. In 1917, Query began making marshmallow cream and selling it door-to-door in Somerville. The recipe was purchased by H. Allen Dukey and Fred Mower, whose Massachusetts company turned it into the marshmallow fluff that we know and love today. Pairing it with peanut butter became the classic Fluffernutter, a sandwich so beloved there's been many efforts to make it Massachusetts' official state sandwich. And these cookies are made out of that sandwich in dessert form. And we also have one of my friends when he was serving in the military. He was overseas in Korea, and this became the currency in his unit. His wife sent it over to him, and all of a sudden, everybody was trading in fluff.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
And so again, Rep. Roy, thank you so much for coming today. So we've back last summer, the school committee kind of voted to name the grounds of like the middle school, high school, and early childhood as the Horace Mann campus. And so now kind of what our charge is to turn that into a reality. We have a couple of ideas we can kind of go and explore later on, but I know you have a lot of experience both working for Franklin for many, many years, and an avid historian and work with the Horace Mann Statue. So I wanted to kind of go, see if we can kind of pick your brain. And with that, the floor is...
You should do introduction.
Oh, yes, and so I apologize. And so, yeah, Dave Callahan on the school committee will go this way.
Colin Boyd, Director of Operations for the school district.
Lucas Jiguer, Superintendent. Nice to see you, Jeff. Thank you for
Good to see you.
Olivia Potty, I'm high school rep.
I'm Nate.
Chris Hansen, I'm on Franklin School Committee.
Steve Sherlock, recording for Franklin Matters, Franklin Public Radio.
Kip Brady.
Tom Scahill.
Bill Gagne.
Kathleen Woods.
Nancy Brown.
Karen Parnell.
Jan Prentice, Historical Commission.
And then online, Jess.
Hi, I'm Jess Olm, community member along with two little boys, nurse at Brigham, and saint for the Department of Health.
Thank you. Jason.
Hey everyone, Jason Joyce.
And then Erin Gallagher as well.
Hi everyone, it's Erin Gallagher here.
Thank you all so much.
All right.
Jeff, take it away.
Well, thank you for having me here tonight. And before I even say that, thank you for putting together this group, because I think it's absolutely critical that we let the world know where Horace Mann was from and what he did. And I think the message really came home today. I know a few familiar faces from the event that we had at the Franklin Public Library at 2 o'clock today. Governor Healy was here to sign the bill on book banning in Massachusetts to make it tougher for people to ban books. Apparently, I wasn't aware of this, but there were over 200 efforts to ban books in Massachusetts just last year alone, whereas in previous years it was around 10. So there's been an expansion of it, but the governor chose Franklin because it's the home of the first public library in America. And one thing we talked about while she was here was the fact that Horace Mann used the books that Benjamin Franklin had donated to the town to educate himself, and he went on to be the father of public education in Massachusetts, in the United States, and there are even parts of the world that follow what he did. So significant that event occurred just this afternoon here in Franklin, Massachusetts, and I think we need to do more to highlight that, because I tell my colleagues that the intersection of library. And Horace Mann being born is really the birthplace of education in America. So I think that intersection needs to be pointed out. And I first got energized about Horace Mann when I would first was elected in 2012, and I would take the train into Boston, and I would walk up from the train station, and I'd walk across the Boston Common, and I'd peer up on the State House lawn, and I'd see two statues on the front lawn, only two. On your right is Daniel Webster, and on your left was Horace Mann. And I did that several times, and I said, my God, I live in the community where Horace Mann was born. We revere him so much to give him a statue on the front lawn of the State House, yet all we have is what looks like a gravestone, just a block down the street. And we really wanted to do something to celebrate his life and legacy. And I said, in the town where he was born and formed his ideas, we should be celebrating him. And it should be in the center of town, and it should be a focal point. And we put together a committee to do that work. And what we decided to do, he's an old man up there on the State House front steps. He looks like he did in 1859 when he passed away. We said, but when he was young, when he was here in Franklin, so we wanted to portray him as a young man looking towards Boston, which is where he ended up. And if you'll notice, under his left arm, you see the books that Benjamin Franklin had donated. We wanted to make sure that those books were recognized on that statue, and had a tremendous celebration. That was on Sunday, May 7th of 2017, and really stands out. And I remember the first talking to Jeff Nunning about conceiving of this particular park, Horace Mann Park. The old town hall was on that space, and the town was selling that parcel. And we suggested that perhaps the town should take an easement on the sale of that town hall property to a private owner, and have an easement to erect a statue and a park to commemorate Horace Mann. And we were successful in doing that. And I think it's great when you drive into the center of town, and one of the first things you see is Horace Mann. And that's some of the history behind that. And I remember Paula Rooney saying to me at that ceremony, well, Oliver Dean was very friendly with Horace Mann, and I think we need a matching statue of Oliver Dean. And I said, I think that would be a great project for Dean College. How we funded that particular project might be of interest to you. First was an appropriation from the legislature. I put an earmark in for $50,000. We estimated the project was going to cost about $100,000. And in town, we have a Fletcher Fund. I don't know how many of you are aware of that, but it's a tidy sum of money. I don't know if you're aware, but Austin B. Fletcher is who the Fletcher School of Diplomacy at Tufts University is named after. He's buried here in Franklin, and he set aside some money to build a hospital in Franklin. We didn't get a hospital, but we did get a very generous pot of money, and it can be used for projects like that. So I would say Fletcher Fund and the Massachusetts legislature are good sources for putting together a project like this. I'm jumping around from the questions or the topics that you had thought, but I think it's helpful to focus on getting a budget put together. What do you think this project is going to cost? What is this project going to entail? Provide to me some sort of a budget and a scope of the project. I would say by no later than April 1st of 2027, because I will be putting in budget earmarks in April of 2027. The exact date is typically the Friday before the April school vacation. And then all of the amendments, there'll be about 1,600 amendments that'll be filed by me and my colleagues, and they'll sort them out, and then we will begin debate on those budget amendments on the Monday after the April school vacation. So if you give me the tools, I will put together a budget earmark for this particular project. I don't make any promises, but after 14 years being there, I've had some success in bringing a few dollars here, so I don't think they'll say no to me, but you know, I have to behave. I have to win in November. As of today, I don't have an opponent, but that could change on September 1st. So September 2nd, I'll begin celebrating if it happens. I'm not celebrating now. I'm just enjoying my summer. So those are some sources of immediate funding. Other places that you should be looking at: Mass Cultural Council. Won't be a huge amount of money coming from them, but every dollar adds up. The Mass Teachers Association has done some work in supporting Horace Mann. In fact, one of the statues that we located was at the National Teachers Association headquarters in Washington, D.C. The American Federation of Teachers, the AFT, is another union of teachers in Massachusetts. They don't, Mass Teachers Association represents the teachers here in Franklin, but AFT does the librarians in Franklin and the teachers in Medway. So they're somewhat close to this community. Doesn't hurt to ask. I don't know if you are intending to generate swag. I see Jason's up there. Jason is the master of swag. The Franklin 250 stuff is some of the best stuff I've seen, and hopefully you're making some money selling that stuff. I would urge you to use that as fundraising. Commemorative coins, shirts, hats, books, whatever you can do. I don't know if you have it in your arsenal to put on a gala, but that is something that I know has worked quite successfully for the Safe Coalition. And you will know that Safe Coalition is not going to do a gala next year, so you won't have competition with them. And perhaps you can utilize them as a resource for how to put together a great gala. Framingham State University was founded by Horace Mann, and I would look to those great folks to jump on board, as I would with Bridgewater State University, also part of Horace Mann, and Westfield State University. Hit them up for some dollars. And businesses named after Horace Mann. I know there's the Horace Mann Educators Corporation. It's out of Illinois, but bears his name. Maybe they want to support the community where the guy was born that made their business flourish so well. Horace Mann Insurance happens to be located in Quincy, Mass. So that's another potential way to reach out. And Dell here in Franklin, Massachusetts is a big enough entity that you may want to look to them for some sort of corporate sponsorship. The budget earmark, I said early spring, sometime before April 1, 2027, and the materials that I'd be looking for is a budget and a fully developed plan on what you want to do. And then you asked, what elements of this would make it stand out for state grants. Will this attract tourists? Is a key question. Samuel Slater Museum in Webster, which is a great model for what can be done. I don't know if there's physical space available on that campus to get you started with some sort of a museum, but a reason to attract tourists, and that might get more people interested. I've talked to Alan Earls for years about the prospect of doing a museum on education or focused on Horace Mann and his life, and this might be a great launching off point for that type of an effort. That's of a much larger scale, but if you start small, perhaps you can build off it and generate some interest. But I think those are the types of things that would make this compelling from a state grant perspective. I would also say we should look at federal grants. Talk to Congressman Auchincloss. They have opportunities to get federal funding. Education is not in the U.S. Constitution, so maybe they're not as tuned in to grants for educational projects. It is ingrained in the Massachusetts Constitution, so we are certainly interested in supporting these efforts. And I will share with you that I have a number of resources that I gathered over the years to put together. I don't know, I did did I give you the electronic version
Yes.
of this?
Yeah.
But this is a booklet that we had put together for the dedication ceremony. And it's got, a lot of biographical information. We looked at what monuments were out there in the world, and I'll have you know, 2 weeks ago, I had to pick up my son at the Amtrak station in Providence, and I had to pick up my daughter at 5 a.m. at Logan Airport. So we got to Providence a lot earlier than I had anticipated, and his train wasn't coming in till 8:40. So I said to Alicia, I said, I know Horace Mann is buried here in Providence. Let's go find his cemetery and go there. And she's like, oh, okay, not how I expected this morning to go. But we did find it, and it was a nice little visit. But, we tried to gather up all of the monuments that are out there. We found one of the trips I actually took when I went to New York. I understood that there was a Hall of Fame of Great Americans. And I can't remember the old college it used to be. It used to be a university. It's high up on a hill in the Bronx. It's now Bronx Community College. And the Hall of Fame of Great Americans is an outdoor exhibit on this campus. Not terribly well maintained because it's all old people. But Horace Mann is one of the people remembered in the Hall of Fame of Great Americans. So it was great to see him up there. I have all of the stamps that bear his name. I have all of the coins that bear his name, and I even have the baseball cards that bear his name. And I have a collection of every single book about Horace Mann that you could ever want. And when people doubt me when I say that Horace Mann actually used the books that Benjamin Franklin put in that library, I show them the passage in his wife's biography of Horace Mann, where she says quite clearly that he used those books to educate himself. So any doubt is I got the resources right there in the office, and I'm happy to share any of those resources with this group. And as you're putting together, potentially, if you do put a museum, I have been asked frequently when I leave the State House what I am going to do with all
say, that was gonna be my line was, you probably have the only current Horace Mann museum, it's probably your office.
That's, yeah, it's, I have stuff all over the place. I mean, a lot of stuff representing Franklin and Medway, but I've been asked, what are you gonna do with this stuff when you leave? So, I'd be happy to donate that to your efforts here. Not that I'm leaving anytime soon. And one last story I'll share with you. So I was trying to track down the statue of Horace Mann that was in the Museum of Educators in St. Augustine, Florida. And St. Augustine, Florida boasts the oldest wood-structured schoolhouse in America. And in the backyard of the schoolhouse, they had monuments to educators. And Horace Mann was one of the educators that was supposed to be in that backyard. And, I had known people who were going there. I said, would you please go and capture a picture for me? And nobody was successful in doing it. So one morning I picked up the phone, I called the museum, which is the old wooden schoolhouse. And I said, this is probably the oddest question you're going to get today. But would you please go out and take a picture of the Horace Mann statue and text it to my number? And she said, well, I'll have to do it when I'm on break, but I'll go out there. She calls me back about a half hour later. She said, there's no statue out here. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, I have an old black and white photo of it. And Vicki Earls, I told her this story, and she did some research, found a librarian from St. Augustine, Florida, and learned that that statue had been vandalized and destroyed, so it was no longer down in that particular place. But some lovely tidbits that I could share. But I think with that, let me open it up to any questions. I'm happy to assist in any way because I'm thrilled that you folks are taking on this project.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. This is terrific. So, if you don't mind, maybe we'll go online first. See, Jason, if you have any questions.
No questions, thanks for being here, Roberta.
Okay, awesome, thanks. Let's see, Jess?
Hi, no questions. Thanks again for all of that history, and man, I want to see your office. It sounds amazing. Thank you.
I love having people come in to the State House. I will give you a personal tour, and I think it's important that people get in to see that because they have a very jaded opinion of politics and what goes on in that building, and to a T, everybody who's gone through it and seen what happens on a day-to-day basis comes out with a much different impression, and I'd be happy to persuade you.
Fantastic. I might take you up on that. Thank you so much.
You got
Thanks
it.
for being here too.
And Aaron?
Sounds like we're going on a field trip.
Yes.
I think so.
I'm psyched. Yeah. No questions from me, Jeff, but thanks for coming tonight.
All right, and it was great to see your husband on the PMC.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, he was excited to see you too. It was a perfect weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe at one point we had, last month, a number of us went and actually drove around, and Colin drove us around the campus, and so we had a little field trip around the campus, kind of checking out, scoping out some spots, and so yeah, maybe we'll do a field trip, see the statue on Beacon Hill, and then come visit. But yeah, now we'll kind of just go around the room. Jan, if you want to.
Where can we get that book?
They have several at the Historical Museum, so scour the halls.
Check.
Yeah, they should be there.
I haven't seen it, but I will check.
Jan, if you'd like, we can print you a color copy of that today before you go, if you can't find one.
And if you want to,
Wonderful.
if you want to reprint them, guess where I had these done? It was Tri-County Regional Vocational Technical High School.
yeah.
They have a printing department. They did them, and if people are interested, if you tell me how many you want, I'll get a number of reprints. Okay.
Thank you.
For my personal archives.
Any other kind of questions right now from the committee?
No, I think we hit the jackpot though.
I love that.
Horace Mann, this is perfect.
Not a question, but just a comment that when our storytelling and education subgroup was last meeting, your document was one of the sources that we were referencing for the work we were doing, and it was just a really phenomenal resource. So thank you.
Thank you.
The tour was wonderful.
That's right.
And your office too.
You have one of the nicest, you have the nicest office in the State House.
It is the best kept secret.
It is.
Nobody can find it. Which is great. And I am at street level, and I have a escape door. So if somebody's chasing me, all I need to do, and you need to have a pad to get out the door, so they can't follow me. I'm gone. I disappear into Beacon Hill.
I think we really do need a field trip there.
Yes, definitely.
I have a question. You mentioned that there are key points that legislatures are looking for when people apply for the earmarks. Do you have any examples of previous successful applications that we could use as
You don't even have to do an application.
Okay.
Just give me a budget,
Or what?
give me, and a plan, and leave it up to me to work it through. We'll see. We'll have to talk about an amount. I think,
You and I, Jeff's been very good to Franklin Public Schools. He was able to get an earmark for $150,000 for the Franklin Middle School library project that we're doing to redo that whole media center. And I remember that phone call, hey, I'm moving on this, and it was, give me the budget, and then give me the tool, give me the talking points that are gonna help me, sell this to the group. And I think we can put together a one-pager, persuasive, the value it brings to the community, the need, and the ask. And I think between the people I'm looking around this room and just my experience in working with all of you, I think we can do it.
yes,
I can share some examples of that, ones that I've had success in, if that's helpful.
the budget is one vehicle to do this, and that's by April 1st. Sometimes we get what are called supplemental budgets, and one of them, if by the middle or towards the end of the fiscal year, we realize that the fair share money, that was the tax on income over $1 million. We had expected that was going to deliver $1 billion a year in revenue, and in fact, it's generated like $2 to $3 billion. So all those millionaires did not leave Massachusetts, contrary to reports. But what that does is we don't budget all of it. So the last couple of years, there's been excess fair share revenue, and that is another potential vehicle. So if I see a fair share supplemental budget coming up before April, I'll call Dave and I'll say, hey, look, I have an opportunity to do something very quickly. Can you get me some? And I will tell you that's going to be a matter of days or hours, because I said to Lucas one time, I said, what do you need at the school? And I think you've got a special education van. But he goes, when do I have to have it to you? I said, within the next 30 minutes.
Speed writing. We have the van?
Yeah, you got the van.
We're going to get it through capital because of the budget tension, so deficits and stuff.
Yeah, so that's another potential avenue, but you won't have as much notice because we find out about these things as the budget's developing.
Some kind of shovel-ready projects in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Hi. How are you, Jeff?
Great.
education-wise, you know, we're talking about public education, public schools, and I know it's not quite, but he was vocationally educated.
Sure.
And I'm just curious how we might connect with that theme, if at all, either budget or stories, or maybe they'd like to contribute. What are your thoughts on
I'm not
that?
certain you're going to get a contribution from them because everybody is very tight on budgets.
They're building their new school.
They're building a phenomenal
Wow.
new place. But, you know, getting them to print items, I think we did 300 or 400 of these. You know, I think they charge us $1 a piece for a full color printing.
Wow.
Those are probably some ways that we can use Tri-County. If there's some building that you're going to do, you know, if you are talking about doing a museum, you know, they have a carpentry section. And as a matter of fact, just a couple weeks ago, they brought me the groundbreaking shovel for the new school in this wooden case with glass and brass plates, and the students made them. And, it was an absolutely beautiful thing. But those, I think those are the types of things you could expect from Tri-County.
They're building us a stand for the bell
There you go.
from the old meeting house.
Yep.
It's done, we're just waiting for it.
But just don't ask them for money.
No. Right.
Like, Lucas, if a group came to you and said, can you make a donation for this?
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to. Public school, we wouldn't be able to.
Well,
But I think those are ways, though,
Yeah.
to leverage some support.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Sorry, hinting a bit from budget, but just wondering, with the high school in mind, I've moved through the Franklin Public School systems myself. I went to the middle school when it was Horace Mann Middle School. But just wondering if you had any suggestions about how to engage the kids, since we're speaking on education, but like, I'm just thinking about like things that could be done in the middle school or through the high school, not related to like funding, but just any excitement about what we're doing here.
Well, I know that there's a song out there. The lyrics to the song are at the back of the book. Horace, now there was a man, is the name of the song. You know, I don't know if they do shows, but you could get them to sing that song. I think the Franklin School for Performing Arts actually performed at this ceremony and did that song. You know, I don't know if there are any plays out there. I believe there are plays dealing with Horace Mann. Doing a Horace Mann themed play might be a great way to do it. Forming a club that could work with this group to come up with some ideas about what they'd like to see and do. I would love to see that type of engagement from the student body. Maybe they have some creative ideas for fundraising.
We used to have a club, the Future Teachers of
There you
America,
go.
remember that?
Okay.
I don't, you know, some of us are old enough to remember that. And that would be great
Yeah.
to see that revived.
Yeah.
FTA.
Just thinking about this project, and I think when we first met, like the first meeting, we put a lot of ideas on the table. And I think there's a continuum. I think the museum is ultimately like a long-term, like wish and dream of the group. And then before that, I know I missed a few meetings, so I don't want to overspeak here, but I'm just thinking about some of the progression that's happened around how do we really designate and put some visual pieces to designate that campus, similar to like downtown, and how do you do boulevard banners, things like that. I think with just some initial, and I'm thinking about students, if they're driving onto a campus or they're going to school on the campus, and it's very clear what this means. And I just didn't know if you guys, I know that's moved down the road a little bit, but do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Certainly can. If you want, maybe I'll start with the banner proposal. Because, so we kind of have two kind of like leading ideas right now that we're kind of formulating. A lot of the groups, we kind of have subgroups or teams within this subcommittee. Yes. Perfect. so one of the ideas was to kind of do those college campus style boulevard banners around the campus, where we can kind of have, actually,
Put them in downtown on the light poles.
Right, that's what they want to do on this campus, similar.
Okay. Well,
and so to kind of have, just as a general mock-up, but some similar idea like this, where on one side you have something kind of marketing that it's on the Horace Mann campus, the other one the specific school that we're kind of located at. And Colin, you had called around, made a couple of quotes, and if you wanted to talk about that, and that is included in the
Yeah, so we work with a couple different printers. So one that I would happen to be working with, we got pricing for about 100 banners would be like a 60 by 30, a really heavy duty vinyl that would be good around seasons and potentially have some longevity. We got that with mounting hardware for just about $136 per banner and mount. I talked to the facilities department, and with this type of install, they think they might need like a specific lift. And with personnel and labor, they said it shouldn't exceed $10,000 to hang these all up around the
how do they do the banners on Main Street?
I'm not sure.
They must have a tool.
They probably
that's DPW. That's DPW.
Might be DPW?
Yeah, that's definitely DPW.
And those are like smaller light posts, right? With the, I think, than the ones we had, like where these would go. These would be high enough where a kid couldn't reach.
These would be higher.
Just thinking about that. I can see a kid wanting that banner for their room.
And also, this would be like first time install of the hardware as well. So it would be more than just hanging. And then we got replacement quotes without the mounting. So if we needed to purchase replacement banner, it's about half the cost almost. It would be about $75 per replacement banner.
So that was something we saw when we did the tour of the campus. The high school, it has the brackets where it used to have FHS and the Panther and these banners, but then over time they got faded, they got taken down, and then just no money to kind of recycle it. So whatever proposal that we kind of come forward on, we want to have this replacement life cycle, so that way we know this is something that is sustainable to move forward. And then we also had another idea of not a physical museum, but a walking museum. And so something else that kind of came as we were touring the Horace Mann campus was that we're seeing people, so many that were walking around the high school in the grounds. And to kind of turn that into a walking museum where, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, we'll be able to have some kind of signage that talks about the Horace Mann campus, includes information on Horace Mann himself. Along, like when you kind of do a hiking trail, you can kind of see, well, if you do this loop, it's going to be 1.5 miles. And additionally, what we may be able to do is to reach out to professors, historians, civic leaders, and map out how long is that loop going to take. And then can those individuals provide, if it's 20 minutes, say, like, a 20-minute lecture about Horace Mann, about his legacy, about his impact. So that way, when you start this walking trail, you can kind of go, click on a QR code, brings to a site that Colin and Mogan talked about with like through GIS, but where then you can kind of go and select, be like, oh, you know what, I want to learn about Horace Mann's connection to the Ben Franklin books. And we have a historian talking about that in your ears as you kind of go and walking around the campus. To that end, first, Colin, if you wanted to talk about like GIS and some of the...
Yeah, sure. Before I click on the story map example, I met with GIS and told them a little bit about this project idea about the walking path and exactly how Dave described it. They actually suggested a user experience platform, which is kind of like a story map, which we'll look at. As an example, if they have the take the trees on the common tour, where we could be using this platform to kind of map out the area, but also house all of the digital information that if you're on a QR code, it would link right to the site, this platform. So I can click on that and see that quick.
And this was something, I know, Tom, you had mentioned this at a past meeting. If folks have kind of seen it, but they have two signs on the common that provide a little bit of information about this, and then a QR code right to this website, where from here you can now kind of learn about every tree that's on the common.
That's there now?
That's there right now, yeah.
That was my.
Wow.
It was spelled about a year ago.
That's great.
So you're saying hook ours up to the trees as well?
Create our own.
Pick,
Yeah.
pick
So
which
this is
one.
an example, just to kind of see what the system, the platform kind of looks like. You can see like the photos they put up, and we can put digital content into this platform. It can be stored there, and then it's kind of interactive too. So like in this case, you press a number, it'll show you the tree. It shows you on the map where it is, so you can kind of see how this could work into the walking path tour idea. And again, it does come with a mobile app as well, where you can download that and use it right on your phone, so you can actually go around with it.
You know, I will, an example of that, I had picked up an app on the Freedom Trail in Boston and put my AirPods in. And as I approached the site, it would automatically turn on and begin telling me what I was looking at. And that would be very cool if you could do something. I can't imagine it's terribly expensive.
If we know, we can at least budget for it and request, and then figure out how we'll
Yeah.
get the funds, but that would be really.
Yeah, that was a great way to do it. Just walk around and all of a sudden somebody starts chirping in my ear. You're standing in front of the Granary Cemetery, and here's buried so-and-so.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this technology is great, because if we want to expand it to other areas in town,
Mm-hmm.
Add it to the map.
you just
Right.
add it to the map.
You can put the
Exactly.
statue now on the
Yes,
map.
exactly.
Just
Exactly.
incorporate, and maybe, if you want to pick where his house was, I don't know geographically, it's probably like in the back of,
His house
Right
is
by the
right.
Right
yeah.
by the
I know, I was going to say, I was,
Frank the liquor.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's Chinese place right behind the.
Yeah.
It was a racetrack after his house was torn down.
And if we go back to that project proposal, I know we also had, Bill, if you wanted to, Bill had done some amazing work, reached out to a couple of different folks, and looked at in terms of some of the designs that are out there, the cost involved. If you wanted to speak to any of that and your findings, we did kind of incorporate a lot of this here.
Okay, if you don't have my slides.
We could load up
That's
your
fine,
site.
I can
Okay.
talk to it.
All right.
So, if you've seen it on the town common, we have signage on the town common, we just talked about. It's also at the sculpture garden. So I've talked to Corey Shea, who's, I don't know if she's director or what of the arts, cultural, and economic.
Creative economy.
And I talked to her about that, and I talked to the DPW. So what I've discovered, I got a Excel spreadsheet I can pass on too, is that there are 3 vendors that we can get these stanchions. And if you've seen them, you know what they look like. And there is 3 backer signage, barking dog. That's a company. And I think it's Euro Signs, that's what it's called. Enviro Signs. And so these 3 companies know each other very well. So it's like they know. I got quotes from all 3 of them. And it's interesting is we see on the town common and the sculpture garden, they were all bought from backer signs. Okay, but all of them get the actual physical structure from Barking Dog. So if you go out there and you look at the back of the signage, there's a sticker, Barking Dog. So that's like the source, and you'll see that in the pricing too. But it's all pretty close. Now, the key part of it is that you need to try to think if I think enough time I have with the notes. So I'll show the pricing with it. Backer came in at $6,800, and what I did ask for a quote for 10 of the aluminum. They're basically brushed aluminum.
So that's
3
10
feet
signs
tall.
for $6,800?
That's for 10. And includes them printing why they jump out. Now, the piece with the signage is, and I think that's important, because we're going to be, if we do this, it's going to be outside. Now, what Corey says she did at the sculpture garden was she went to Allegra Printing, and they printed signs, and it sounded her print, my discussion was kind of like, well, Jeff knows it's like the political signs. They can put them out there, heavy plastic, put them out there, undergo the weather and everything. But I think we've got to do better than that. So these people put together, what we call it, you got it there.
So what you put here, I think they men call them message boards, but
Yeah, that's
the
fine.
description was like an outdoor durable like kitchen countertop.
So think of it as an outdoor kitchen counter.
Yeah.
It's HD paper, heavy. It's high def paper, sealed with some resilience resin.
Melamine?
Yes, resin, and that they are protected from the sun, water resistant, and they come with a 10-year guarantee. So that seems to me to be, because if you look at it, I think that's what they did at the town common. I don't know that for sure, but that's what like the signs with the trees look like. That looks like that was done there. But if you go over to the culvert card, it doesn't look bad, but I think it just looks like a better quality at the town common.
You know, you might want to check Franklin State Forest on Grove Street, and the Snet Trail has some kiosks or signs that were put in by DCR. I don't know who the manufacturer is, but you might want to take a peek at those for some other ideas.
Yeah, and one of the things that if everybody wants to look at it, there is a catalog. Packer puts out a very online catalog. I'm glad to send it to everybody. Dave's got it, Reese has got it. And they have a lot of variety of signs. And they do a lot. For example, see the sign is just like in national parks, state parks too. So it probably fits right into that. Some are straight standing up, some are kind of what we see at the town common. So they have a lot of variety, and it's very detailed. Catalog's very good. What else would be? So it's one of the pieces that we would have to provide would be camera-ready artwork. Now, if we wanted, them to do it, they do it, but we're going to be paying for it. So we do camera-ready artwork. I talked to Allegra Printing, and they could help us with that. But I like using Tri-County. They probably do the same thing. They're going to be in the printing business. 6-week lead time once they get finalized, sign off on all the artwork. Pricing, they said, was they guarantee the pricing for 30 days. But I told them, said, we're not going to be ready in 30 days. And they all kind of went, okay, that's fine. So that's kind of where it is. I think, now this is just the pass outs here. If you want to pass, I'm going to make 10 copies.
Great job.
This
Wow.
just shows the breakout of the cost. And like I say, it's about $6,800 with signage. And I like Barking Dog. Barking Dog is located in Oak Grove, Wisconsin, which is kind of west central Wisconsin. Backer is located in Roseville, Minnesota, which is a suburb of the Twin Cities. And Enviro Signs is in Salt Lake City. So, but it just seems that Backer seems a one-stop shop. I think I would prefer to do that.
It's a good comparison, Bill. Thanks for doing the legwork on this. I think when I zoom out and think about this and some of the other things that have a cost associated, I'm wondering about, because I think everything that's been described is like, it would be, if the banners went up, signage was installed, that's an immediate to the community, like, ooh, wow, they're serious. This is a campus, there's clear signage with a way, with if we can get this, like the GIS with that idea or matching the Freedom Trail, and then it's leading to like, the next leg is we want, and then we could probably get, I was saying to Colin, I wonder if we can get analytics from everyone who hits that that code.
I was thinking the
So
same
the
thing.
next ask for a statue at the end of to start and finish the loop, in between the middle school and the high school, that green space. Well, and you guys have all said this, these are not my ideas, but boom, that's the next leg. Now we have that, plus the trail, and then it's what are we moving towards? And maybe
Curriculum.
Now, one of the things that Packer has in their catalog, which I thought was pretty cool, I didn't ask for a price on that, but we can look at it. They have actually a trail marker sign that's about 6 to 8 feet tall that they can engrave with whatever you want in it, and that looks pretty cool. You'd see it at like probably national parks and things like that, but it's pretty cool. So,
Fantastic. Thank you.
Get one at either end.
Yeah. And so so we have a lot of ideas kind of brewing, and we've been kind of now going from big kind of picture ideas, throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall, to now we're seeing the stuff that's sticking, and really kind of building that out. So that way, certainly by the April 1, not much earlier, we'll have a couple of different proposals ready. So when the time comes, we can kind of get that rolling.
Perfect.
I noticed on your logistics and budget panel that's up, it says 4,000 to 6,000 per sign.
That should be corrected. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say that was not my.
No. And then, so just kind of a matter of business, we can take some comments, but then otherwise, I do want to discuss the farmer's market coming up. I don't know if you want to stick around. More than welcome to.
Look, I'm enjoying this discussion, and if you don't mind, I'll hang.
Absolutely. First, any other comments, anything online? Aaron or Jess? Good. And, Jason, I apologize. Awesome. So then, we'll continue to kind of go and work on this, especially because I know you mentioned the Cultural Council limited funding, but their window is going to open up in September. Is that correct? September to October. So we do want to be able to have something that, so at the next meeting, we'll probably look to kind of finalize some small ask that we might be able to kind of do to kind of reach out, and so that way we can kind of reach out to the council and work on that. But in between that time, August 21, we have the community booth over at the farmers market, just dedicated for Horace Mann Legacy. And so it's going to be hopefully, really great opportunity to reach out to the public, talk about some of these ideas and some of the stuff that we've, the proposals that we have, the ideas that we've generated, and really just like what we've done. Thanks, Lucas. And start to kind of solicit more feedback from the rest of the community there. And so over the probably next couple of days, I'll send out an email. We'll look to have it staffed between 2 to 6. And so I'll just shoot out a message just so we can see how, it's only a few hours, but who's available for that time. But I also thought one of the big things is we kind of go to the market, is a lot of families and a lot of kids. And sometimes the easiest way you kind of draw on the kids, and then the parents are stuck there as the kids are doing something. So kind of like brainstorm different activities or different things that we can kind of do while we have that booth and that opportunity. One idea that came up was to have estimation jars. And so, toys, trinkets, anything we may have, we can put, 100 or so pieces of candy in a jar. The kids can kind of come on over and then make guesses. Whoever gets closest wins the jar. But then as we're there, we can talk to the families to say, hey, this is what we are, this is what we're doing. We just started, we have an Instagram page, and to try to grow the followers to say, the winners will be announced on Instagram, please follow us here. Or you can also kind of sign up, because we have a Horace Mann Franklin Public School email account as well, to say, hey, you can also please give us your email address. Horace Mann in his email will announce the winner and send that message out to whatever kiddo wins it, but be able to also start to kind of build that database of folks who want to kind of follow along and look into this. And so I thought that was one idea. Jan had given us, we have the Horace Mann coloring book that the museum made. And so we also might be able to, depending on the weather, we'll see if it's too hot, the crayons might melt pretty quickly. But we can still have a number of the coloring books, and they have a great word search at the back too. So we can kind of have this just there for the kiddos to kind of go, but I don't know what else folks thought we should have or look to do during that 4-hour period as we got folks kind of walking around the common.
Would these ideas be shared without the money and everything attached?
Yeah,
Like,
we could certainly kind of go and have.
get some like poster size things for like concepts of the trail, the signage maybe or something, and then the boulevard banners to kind of say what's this group, and then
Absolutely.
any upcoming events.
Could we put in there something about where they can make a donation? if they
Oh,
want to?
yes. Thank you. Jason?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, we did the, at 2:50, we did the farmer's market on 7/31. We're actually going to be there on 8/21 as well. That's the date you said, right?
Yes.
And we found that we got more engagement and conversations at that than we did at the 4th of July Carnival or the FIFA Welcome to the World, because people just aren't in a rush as much. And one thing we were taking ourselves is just getting a volunteer list or a listserv. I mean, that maybe is less relevant to HML as it is to 250, but like people are willing to talk and engage and give their ideas. So just a clipboard could be an idea.
Thank you. Jan?
I have a volunteer at the museum, and he did a thesis on Horace Mann, and he was our guest speaker a couple months ago, and I was hoping he'd be here tonight, but he isn't. And I also have a timeline set up on Horace Mann at the museum.
A low lift for the farmer's market for engagement could just be like 5 simple trivia questions about Horace Mann.
What if we did something like a spot the difference game, where we have an image of like what a classroom would look like before Horace Mann, and then a picture of a modern classroom, and like, I mean, it's a little bit comedic because the differences are going to be stark and obvious, but presenting it in that way to kind of show like where we were and where we are now, and this is because of these ideas.
Does the coloring book tell like a kid version story? Like, I'm assuming it's for ages of kids who color. Just didn't know if it has a little bit.
You don't color?
I do. I do love to color. I just didn't know if it was
I've
accessible.
seen
to
your artwork and your artwork.
Yeah, I would to walk 2 miles to school, only able to go to school a few weeks each year. The servants with Reverend Eamon.
Great. I hadn't seen it. That's great.
Yeah. And does the museum have extra copies of this?
I
We can
don't
kind of, okay, no worries, we can that.
When we did our celebration for Horace Mann, I confiscated a copy of my files.
Good.
Can we get some of those straw hats? Would they be, something we could sell? Or any other swag for this? I think Jason was talking about how he had some good samples. You know how that's what he did.
We'll be selling our
right? He made
250 straw hats. Yeah.
So 250, I know they got their straw hats that they'll be selling. I think for just given the runway that we have right now, may not be, but it's certainly something that as we move forward, that we can kind of go and look to do. And something else too with the farmer's market, this particular one, we had the community booth. There's a question on whether or not you're selling stuff because they have some of the other vendors. I had checked the no box because we didn't have anything at the time. But, any other kind of thoughts, ideas right now?
I talked to the history professor at Dean College, and he's willing to help.
Perfect.
Is that Rob?
Yeah, Rob. He's awesome.
That's fantastic.
So I took a tour on last week. I did a historical pub crawl, and these 2 women were raving about this tour they got of the Freedom Trail. And they said, and they were from Iowa. And they said, he was from this place, Dean College. And I said, was his name Rob? And they said, yeah, that's him. So I sent them an email with a picture of these 2 women. And I said, hey, they're raving about your tour that you gave. I didn't know you did Freedom Trail tours. And he said, oh yeah, those two ladies from Iowa, they were amazing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And
He's awesome.
he's here in Franklin.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Did he speak at Dr. Rooney's retirement? The history, there was a history professor who gave a history of Dean, and someone had donated the cornerstone to one of the buildings.
Probably him.
He'd done a bunch of research.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does a cemetery tour too.
Oh,
He does a haunted graveyard tour on Halloween that is
Halloween.
spectacular.
Yeah. You should definitely, if you haven't done the graveyard tour, you
Wear a costume.
We need him.
Dress like Horace Mann.
He's great.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say, I think we need to do something like that, like dress.
I've done it for 7 years.
I reached out to him because William Howard Taft spoke at Dean in 1916. And I said, there's got to be something in the school. He located a ton of stuff, photographs and everything.
That's fantastic.
Just wondering, thinking about the high school again, but we have programming through there, like peer leaders, that runs like summer programming for the kids. So we have things like high school experience. We have things like we meet with the kids like at the beginning of the year, and then we meet with the 8th graders at the end of the year for like the transition period. But like, would the campus to be and things like that be something we could like get the kids excited about and promote, or should we wait on that for things that are like happening this summer that to tell the kids?
Good idea. I think one way or another, whether or not if it's this summer or this following, is say to be able to kind of go and to build that engagement is terrific at both at the high school and then whatever they may have at the middle school
We do,
as well.
we go in and right as the, it's like right before summer, we go into all of the 8th grade classrooms in the middle schools, and we present to them, and we get a time in their flex blocks, and they have the space to ask questions. It's like small, like tight-knit groups, so it's actually really good for the kids to feel comfortable to ask questions like that. So I'm just thinking if we added an extra slide or two about like things that would get the kids excited about the transition, like campus to be or things like that, or maybe even about the walking trail, because I know kids are involved in athletics, parents are there nightly, like waiting for kids to get out of football, soccer practice, and they're all walking while waiting for their kiddos. So I'm just thinking about that as well, or maybe the following summer.
It'd be great once we have established things to call it, even if the athletic information goes out and it's like, hey, while you're there, you know, that's great. I think also I like the idea of if they're new to like they're entering middle school, so it's their first time, letting them know right away when they enter 6th grade, now that we have a middle school experience, you're at the middle school, but you're on the Horace Mann campus, and then I like that idea when they leave, it's like, hey, you're heading to the high school, but you're still part of the Horace Mann campus.
And I think we get the kids, at least knowing what we do now, because I've been doing the program for a few years, but like I've talked about it before, I think, in previous meetings, but like the middle schoolers the transition is crazy, and you know, kids are nervous, but I think that they get really excited about like, oh, we're going to be Franklin Panthers, and I think it's really, the school has created a lot of pride, but I think incorporating Horace Mann and making that into like, to involve both, I think will be huge.
It's fantastic because when we first, forever ago now, kind of started talking about this, there was also discussion about bringing it up in the elementary level too. And then so to be able to kind of have the kiddos going from K to 5, like you said, it's a big transition. You kind of go to the middle school, but now you're not just going to the middle school, but you're going to the Horace Mann campus about this guy that you have heard about and walked the trail, maybe seen. At one point we kind of talked about this idea of putting up artwork within maybe some of the schools of Horace Mann and what he was doing at their certain ages, so they can kind of grow with Horace. And so to be able to kind of go, and now all of a sudden it's like, all right, middle school isn't that scary because I do know a little bit about this guy that it's, at least the campus has been named after. And then to work with Dr. Weber and Craig over there, Principal Williams, to include that in the experience, I think would be fantastic. Is that something that we might be able to kind of go and work with the admin team to, as we start to kind of build that out?
Start to bake this out, these ideas coalesce, and it starts to I don't want to embarrass you, but I have an idea. And don't worry, you don't have to do anything. But we were at the Vineyard for a vacation.
I'm nervous for you.
It's okay. But I walked into a t-shirt shop, and they have these, like, if you know, you know kind of shirts. So it's a picture of, like, they had one of, like, Barack Obama in a Chicago Bulls jersey, and he's shooting a hook shot, but it's like it's a Chicago Bulls basketball player body. And you're like,
He has the shirt.
all right. So, like, you look and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then I saw another one in a different place, and it was like George Washington. It said, like, legend, you know?
Yeah.
It was just cool. And then I was thinking, like, oh, Horace Mann, what if there was a t-shirt that was kind of cool, and it was, like, legacy, or, like, the man, you know, with his last name. I was just thinking out loud, like, if you know, kind of shirts that are kind of cool. So, shirts is an investment in some upfront capital. It doesn't always pan out, so, you know, maybe a button is better. But.
Yeah,
But it might be nice to get them for the students.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, I also know the classes that the kids take at the high school, our arts program, the kids adore it. I think it's a really special part of the high school right now. So whether that's, we have VidPro, we have a ton of different like arts programs in the high school, and I think that could be either whether that's a separate project that the kids could take on, or whether that evolves into a club. I think that could be a cool way to get kids engaged, because I think they already are through the arts program. So
I was thinking that with these message boards with our signage, is that we should dedicate, no matter how many we have, 1 or 2 designed by students.
Good idea.
Maybe there's some cash reward.
And there's the DECA Club, and they have a store.
yes.
Maybe that could be a venue for Lucas's t-shirts.
That's right.
Just saying.
If you know,
I
you
can
know.
see it.
I would wear one in a second.
We could offer the back of the shirts to sponsors too, if the money increases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, certain levels of sponsors could be on the back of the shirt, size and things like that. Use that to generate income.
I said this last meeting, Horace Mann put his picture here, underneath it, more than just a pretty face. Put something else on the back, Father of Public Education.
And not to get too into the weeds, but we could consider something like pre-orders, so that we don't have to invest that capital up front. Have a couple samples. It may not go as far as the immediate gratification of selling and giving out the t-shirt, but it's a thought. It, avoids some of that upfront investment.
If you get sponsors, you could cover the costs of them. And sign me up as a sponsor.
Thank you.
I will throw a logo on the back of your shirt.
And call them limited edition t-shirts.
Yeah.
Inaugural.
Legacy sponsor.
Brilliant.
We could do, I know he wasn't able to make it today, but Bobby DeLorco said while we were kind of doing the tour that he does have a kind of a contact that would be able to kind of go. I think he's worked with the Patriots and others, but be able to kind of do a lot of the shirts and materials pretty cheap as well. So if we can kind of reach out to him and just get some different quotes, and then start kind of going around and getting some sponsors to help cover that, so then we can, if we're giving away or something.
Part owner of one of these shops.
What's that?
He said last meeting he was going to be part owner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said.
But so I'll in between.
Fresh and print.
I like that. That's so cute.
I've been trying to get this t-shirt made in every Franklin group I've been a part of, and nobody wants to make it, so I'm just going to throw that out there. Happy Brother with our
That's
forefathers.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Love.
What are we? So Eddie Grant, Horace Mann, Ben Franklin.
Pastor Emmons looking sunny as always.
That's fantastic, Jason. All right.
It really is.
That's cool. So that's what we kind of, like I said, we one, we had a couple of draft proposals that we just started to percolate. We'll continue to kind of work on that as we move forward. August 21 will be at the farmers market, and so what we'll look to do is try to have some printouts of the proof of concepts of just some of the ideas to kind of go and engage with folks. Have like an estimation station for a couple of the kiddos, along with Horace Mann coloring book and word search. Some trivia questions, and then it reads if like you in storytelling want to look at the possibility of like the spot the difference.
I could probably find a couple of images to slap together.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not thinking anything too complicated. I would go
kids in and just get to talking. Because what we'll do is we can kind of have, and we'll just tape it down on like the table or be underneath the tent. But one opportunity with the QR code for the Instagram page, just for folks to kind of follow along, so we can build that up. We'll have a clipboard available just so folks can kind of leave their contact information if they just want to learn more, but also if they want to enter and find out about that estimation jar if they win that, along with, and then another QR code to kind of bring us back to the donation page. So that way, if folks do want to make a direct donation, it's right through the town's UniPay website, so they can kind of go and do that and make a tax-deductible donation. So we can kind of start to work on that, and I'll send out an email just looking for volunteers for the 21st. We get a little bit closer. All right. Any other questions, comments, suggestions right now?
Well, Jeff's here. Given that Horace Mann was the first Secretary of Education in Massachusetts, do you think the current Secretary of Education's office would be interested in being involved in some way? If we have an event, perhaps come. You think back in the '80s when Shirley Upsnickle came, when they canceled when they developed the Federal Department of Education. She came from Washington. I just wondered if you think that office would be interested.
I am certain.
Okay.
They would absolutely.
Before we start to think about it.
Horace Mann is commemorated in 3 locations. So I told you about the statue. We go into the Senate reading room. As a former Senate president, he has a portrait in that room. And then if you come into the House chamber, we have a frieze along the ceiling with the names of 53 men who helped form Massachusetts. And I emphasize men because I want you to keep in mind that this room was built in 1899, which is 21 years before women had the right to vote. So it's very difficult to contribute to your government if you can't even vote. We're working on a frieze with the names of all the women that will go under that, but Horace Mann is up on that as one of the 53 great people of Massachusetts. Let's make him remembered here at Franklin. Very well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. Representative Roy, thank you. This was terrific. We'll get a couple more of those.
Yeah, let me know how many you think you want, and I'll have to wait till September, but I will get the folks up at Tri-County.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I definitely want one for my own
All right.
personal use.
All right. So then, time being 8:20, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I got Kit and everybody else on a second. All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you guys all so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We are now producing this in collaboration with Franklin TV and Franklin Public Radio. This podcast is my public service effort for Franklin, but we can't do it alone. We can always use your help. How can you help? If you can use the information that you find here, please tell your friends and neighbors. If you don't like something here, please let me know. Through this feedback loop, we can continue to make improvements. And I thank you for listening. For additional information, please visit franklinmatters.org. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me directly at suresteve@gmail.com. The music for the intro and exit was provided by Michael Clark and the group East of Shirley. The piece is titled Ernesto Mañana, copyright Michael Clark and Tintype Tunes in 2008, and used with their permission. I hope you enjoy. By the way, you can also subscribe and listen to Franklin Matters Radio on your favorite podcast app. Search in podcasts for Franklin Matters.